In our first story, managers of car power are assuring Ghanaians of uninterrupted power supply at the lowest cost. The car power barge, which is expected to bring in some 225 megawatts, arrived at the Tema Harbour over the weekend. Although government has said the barge will ease the current energy crisis being experienced over the last 3 years, many have raised questions about the efficiency of the barge and the cost to Ghanaian consumers. At the arrival ceremony early Sunday morning, Chief Executive Officer of Karadenis Holding, managers of car power, Ohan Karadenis, said the plant will rely on low fuel for cheaper electricity.
One thing I would like to highlight is rather than listening and quoting hearsay and stories that have been going around, please consult the company, our officials here, for the actual and precise facts surrounding the project, which I think are quite different than what people might have been saying. This project has been one of the quickest delivered power at the lowest cost for Ghana. We have arranged for an independent fuel supply, which will secure the continuous generation of power and which will be one of the lowest cost power generation, thermal power generation in the grid. There has been a lot of talk about the fuel supply and fuel sourcing. We will be using low sulfur heavy fuel oil, which is the lowest cost fuel available today. It is almost half the cost of LCO and West African pipe supplied natural gas, and it is operated in state-of-the-art brand new power generation with the highest efficiency. These are simple facts, and if you need details on these, I'm sure our guys can help clarify these to you. We have a couple of weeks of preparation and final connection, which will be technically executed in the safest, quickest time span, and hopefully this will coincide with the completion of remaining a couple of administrative issues, and we'll be delivering power, uninterrupted, reliable supply of base load, low-cost power to the Ghanaian grid very quickly in the coming weeks.
Meanwhile, the Director of Public Affairs at the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, Nanaya Jantwa, says the Commission was yet to set new water and electricity tariffs despite suggestions of a hike of up to some 200%.
It means additional generation and certainly a minimization of load shedding. And PRC is certainly happy that today we are seeing this, a ship with a power plant on it. It's a novelty and we are all happy. 225 megawatts out of the load shedding that we are going through. It's going to be very remarkable.
But obviously this is not coming cheap. We obviously have to pay for it.
No, it's one of the cheapest plants that we have. I mean, overall. If we have to pay for it, it's not as expensive as we are envisaging, because the fuel that they are using is cheaper than most of the fuels around.
So where are we on the road for the payment of reasonable tariff?
We haven't gotten there yet. The Commission is still discussing. If we are going to get adequate power through the grid, I think that Ghanaians will be prepared to pay. And that is what everybody is saying when we went round, that they need available power, reliable power through the grid.
Power Minister Dr. Kwabena Donkor has, however, told journalists not to be overly excited about the arrival of the power barge, as it will not necessarily end all problems confronting the current energy crisis we have.
Let me say that the arrival of this ship or this barge will not solve all our problems. It will make a contribution. As we speak, the 250 megawatt power project at Abuazi is also proceeding. Indeed, that is even bigger than the car power ship. Unfortunately, the Ghanaian press have been so fixated with the car power barge that nothing else seems to be happening. The KTPP plant, 220 megawatts, is also at completion stage. TICO, 120 megawatt steam expansion has also been completed. In fact, indeed, His Excellency will be commissioning it in about a week or so. TAPCO has also gone through the full combined cycle. Therefore, a lot is happening in the sector. We do ourselves in Ghana a disservice when we focus only on the power badge.
And the badge may have arrived, but there's been extreme criticism to government because the Member of Parliament for Owosso West Wagon has criticized government for putting up an early celebration for the arrival of the power badge. Emmanuel said government should rather be focusing on getting the badge to work to solve the current energy crisis. He was speaking on the sidelines of the dedication of a new chapel at the Trinity United Church here in Accra and Legon.
I think that this government treasures form over substance. What has happened? You have, after you have put the good people of this country through 4 years of unimaginable power situation, a power badge that will provide, said to provide 225 arrives from Turkey. Indeed, it is not even sitting in the position where it will begin to produce power and the power will be evacuated to feed the national grid. I believe that when the minister was asked when we will have power, he was not sure of when this was going to be. So what were we celebrating? What are we celebrating? I am a little disappointed that it is we are managing this country like class 1 children. Your father promised that he will have a party for you. So when you see that they bring some cake in the house, then it becomes an occasion to announce to the world that they have brought the cake for the. This is exactly what is happening. What the good people of this country are waiting for is a rectification of this unimaginable, unbearable situation we live with. The power badge by itself does not produce electricity, even when it is docked and properly anchored, until and unless you feed it with fuel. Why don't we wait and begin to see an improvement in the power? Then we can begin to celebrate. I tell you, this government is only interested in the form. The good book of the Christians, the Bible says that they have a form, but they deny the power. They like the form, that is all, nothing else.
In other stories, the chairman of the National Peace Council, the Most Reverend Professor Emmanuel Asante, is challenging the media to be circumspect in their reportage by acting as linguist. He said this was necessary for peace to prevail during the 2016 elections.
I wish that the media in this country would play the role of a traditional linguist. What do I mean by the traditional linguist? The traditional linguist does his work in such a way that even when somebody has said something that is untoward, he doesn't repeat that sort of thing. I have heard all sorts of things. People have said nasty things, and the media has even urged them on by the sort of questions that are thrown for them to continue to create, confusion, to create the condition for the possibility of conflict in the nation.
Emmanuel Professor Asante also called for an end to vigilante groups in the country. According to him, such groups that operated in such manner did not understand political activities. He also condemned last Monday's dawn raid on the MPP's party headquarters, calling it barbaric.
Why do we need vigilante groups in our politics? It simply tells us that we have not understood what political activities are all about. Because if you have understood what political activities are all about, you don't need vigilante groups who go around harassing your opponents. We should learn to live and let others live. Let me use this opportunity to say that what happened at the New Patriotic Party's office recently is condemnable. It is something that should not be countenanced in a country like ours. No matter what, if it's an internal thing, it is still worse. But if it came from outside, that some people did that, it's condemnable. We're living in a civilized country, and we need politics of civility, not barbaric politics in our country.
Government is set to pass the Securities Industry Bill, which is currently before Parliament. The bill, when passed, will link farmers to the capital market to enable them to have easy access to financing both locally and internationally. Deputy Minister of Finance Mona Quartey, who announced this at the 2015 edition of the Ghana Investment Awards, assured the passage of the bill will pave way for the development of a commodities exchange in Ghana.
This year's edition of the Ghana Investment Awards assessed the top performers out of the 19 brokerage firms and 78 investment advisor firms duly licensed by Securities and Exchange Commission, as well as all listed equities on the Ghana Stock Exchange. Gold Coast Securities was adjudged Fund Manager of the Year. Broker Dealer of the Year went to Data Brokerage Limited. Data Bank was also adjudged Research Report of the Year. Best Growing New Investment Bank went to Frontline Capital, among other individual and fund awards. The ultimate prize, Investment Bank of the Year, was picked by Data Bank. Chief Executive of Data Bank is Kojo Adai Mensah.
I think it's long overdue. We have been the pace setters in the investment banking industry. We have shown the way for Ghana and the way to go in the capital markets. I think we deserve this award. I'm proud to be associated with it, but I don't take it, like I said, I'm not taking it as a personal award. I'm not taking it as a Data Bank award. I'm taking it as an industry award. I think it's important that Ghanaians come to understand that there's the commercial banking and there's investment banking, and the investment banking is actually the main catalyst to economic development.
Meanwhile, Deputy Finance Minister Mona Quartey says all is set to pass the Securities Industry Bill currently before Parliament.
Government will continue to work with industry to ensure that the regulatory framework improves significantly within the shortest possible time. In this regard, I'm happy to inform you that the Securities Industries Bill presented to Parliament will soon be passed into law. The new law will address weaknesses in the existing law and promote further development of the market. The new Securities Industry Bill will also ensure a comprehensive and robust regulatory regime and will align our legal and regulatory framework with international standards and best practices as required. The passage of the new Securities Industry Bill will also pave the way for the development of a commodities exchange in Ghana. The commodities exchange will link Ghana's rich agricultural sector to the capital market, which will in turn provide easy access by our farmers to financing.
In all, 14 award categories were presented under the three broad areas: corporate, product and funds, and individual awards.
Well, if investment banking is good, why not investment also in insurance? Because some insurance companies, they've welcomed the National Insurance Commission's quest to get government to enact the requisite laws for compulsory insurance. The laws on compulsory insurance, among others, would see professionals like medical practitioners receive insurance cover against any incident that may arise in the line of duty.
Drive some numbers. So the more people we have on the insurance, the lesser the cost and the premiums that each individual will pay. So if it's a compulsory insurance and everybody's on cover, then it means everybody is going to enjoy lesser premiums and get the service that they require. And when you look at the developed world, the Americas, the UK, it's been built on insurance because it's in volumes.
Head of Corporate Affairs and Marketing of Glyco Group has assured clients of continuous prompt payments of premiums to them. She attributed prompt payment to the success of Glyco Healthcare in the 10 years it has been in existence. Speaking to Joy Business at the 10th anniversary celebrations, she indicated plans by Glyco Healthcare to provide improved and better services to its customers.
People actually, you have your competitors, as I say, we can provide you better. There's price on the carton. There's people doing all sorts of things to ensure that, at the end of the day, we have better value But what we've stuck to our guns as Glyco Healthcare is to ensure that we pay our claims promptly. That we don't joke with it, and our service providers will attest to it. We make sure that we charge the right premium so that at the end of the day we can give you the beneficial and value for your health service that you require.
Glyco also launched a Glyco Healthcare app as part of the celebrations. The app is to make the health insurance easily accessible to all.
The Police Command in Ho in the Volta region has arrested 10 out of 11 suspected highway robbers who attempted to hijack a cargo truck on the Peki-Peva Road. The police retrieved knives, a machete, 6 mobile phones and a 5 cedi note from the suspects. One of the suspects, who is currently at large, is said to have bolted with the driver's mate on board the truck. The police said the suspect broke the windscreen of the cargo truck and also assaulted the driver and his mate. The police, meanwhile, says it will mount a search to arrest the suspect on the run as investigations are continuing.
We were at the barrier. I'm at performing duty at Bama barrier when a stranger came there that they were attacking a car, a car carrying container. So quickly, I say, what happened? They say a man's carrying gun, cutlass, and other things. So I quickly mobilized my men, the highway patrol team, to give us more reinforcement. As at now, we find the cutlass, and then I learned the one who is having the weapon ran away with one of the victims.
And that's it for the news for the morning. Make sure, as always, you log on to our social network platforms. And on Facebook, we have Joy News on TV. That very account is linked to our Twitter handle, Joy News on TV. And we have a WhatsApp platform. And the number to reach us on WhatsApp is 0560 800,000. We'll make sure that in the course of the next 2.5 hours, we relay some of those messages to you. And I'm sure you'll be as much grateful as we will be for those messages that you'll be sending. Well, we'll have to take a break. When we come back, we'll be looking at what the stories are on the front and back pages of the newspapers. They've been summarized on the news portal, myjoyonline.com, and we'll also look at how some stories also have been published on other news portals, not only in our country, but across the continent and beyond. Do stay on. We'll be right back.